Hello, welcome back to the channel. About a week ago or more, I had made a video, went on Facebook Live talking about just my week, this whole thing, thinking about the estrogen in women, and that I planned to go and get some blood work done, which I did. So in this week video, I will talking about the process. I'll talk what I like about it, what I don't like, and I'm still disappointed. But this whole thing made me realize something that I only think was just, you could say, for one country, what I think it's perhaps in the entire medical field, how they look at women. So let's go. Okay, my appointment was for 8 o'clock. I was there very early, I think like 7:30. About 10 to 8, I was able to go into the office. I was the first person there. And within 2 minutes, another woman came in, and I could say, for the next 5 to 10 minutes, this office moved from just 2 persons or 2 patients to about 35. So everyone came in, and there were a lot of couples. And what I realized, only very, very, very few of us, including myself, had to fill up the registration form. Majority of the people were just like yearly follow-up, even hearing people talking about like the business and things like that. You get check-in, and about 3 minutes after 8, I get called, and they did blood work. From your blood work, you went to get your pressure check. From the pressure check, I went on that dreaded machine that I went on in Qatar. I'll show you the picture of it, which identify all the areas that I have fat. I do not like that machine. From there, I went and get my hair in check. I get my eyes checked. Then the bone density scan. When you finish with that, I went and sat down, and I saw the first doctor. She was a gynecologist that went to review some of the information that already came in, like my pressure and things like that, but my blood work wasn't done as yet. She checked like your breast. She did a pap smear. You get a warning because I couldn't eat 8 to 10 hours before. So the last meal I had was about like 9:30 the night before, which is just like a cup of tea, and I think I had about half a banana. At the point they said, after the gynecologist check your breast and do the pap smear and all of that, she said I could have something to drink, coffee or tea, no food. I could have sugar but no milk. So I had a cup of tea. From there, you went and get your stress test done. And from the stress test, I went to the radiology department, which they did a sonogram of your stomach, checking like your kidneys and things like that. Well, also that I got my mammogram done, right, with the machine. And after that, they said that I could go and have lunch. Well, one of the things that they did, they gave you a voucher. After I went on the dreaded machine, I was given 2 10 ringgit voucher. This 10 Malaysian dollars, so like 20 Malaysian dollars in two vouchers that you could go and have lunch. So when after I finished with the radiology department, I went back to the front desk, like the check-in desk, and she said, "Okay, well, Miss Simon, it is 11:45. Your stress." What's my stress test? No, I didn't do my stress test then. Before, my stress test was the next test that I would have done at 12:45. So I had 45 minutes. She said you could go and have lunch, but I had already packed something to eat from the hotel. They had prepared a nice box with food and stuff for me. So I just decided I ate what I had. And I said I'll use the $20 later on, perhaps buy something to take back to the hotel. After the stress test, I went to the dietitian, and she looked and she said, based on my blood work, I need to use more fiber and things like that. One of the things that I learned is that the way you drink water. She said, do not ever, you sit down and drink a whole big cup of water right away, or you just keep sipping the water. She said it's better for your kidneys, because when you drink all the water at one time, it flushes through your system, while the little bit you just keeping constantly drinking a little bit, it's better for your kidneys. So I learned that and things like that. When I went back downstairs to the gynecologist, she said, okay, my mammogram showed that I have a lump near to my left breast, the nipples. She said she felt it and there's a lump. Let me tell you something, a history about my breast. I'm not going to show you it, but I'll tell you about the history. Over the years, I will always feel something or I'll feel a pain and I run to the doctor and then I'll go pay sometimes a whole lot of extra money to check everything and then they say, Miss Simon, there's no problem. So this is the first time someone is telling me something is wrong with my breast, which did not sit too well with me. So she asked me, when could I come in? I told her when I will be leaving the country. And I will need to have this test done before then. She said, all right, she's going to look into it. But when I finished with her, I went back outside and then they tell me, okay, they make the appointment, but must go upstairs to reach the cardiologist to check the results of my stress test. But before I go up to him, I asked her when she's going through, the kidneys good, this good, that good. One of my cholesterol, I think she said the bad one, I got to be careful with it, all of these other stuff. I asked her, I said, what is my estrogen level? Because that is the main reason why I went there. I had done my blood work last year, October, November, when I was back in the US. I had done all my blood work. I didn't get my mammogram done. So I was glad to get that done, but I had done all of those sort of stuff. So my main reason for going there was to check my estrogen level, because in the US, they don't do it. Although they draw all the blood from you, they just don't do it. And I never knew to ask for it. It's now like recently I'm hearing things and I start reading up. I said I need to know what's the level of on my cortisol. My cortisol level was very good, which I didn't expect it to be because I was worrying about something or the other. But they said that was very good. But my estrogen level. She said, oh, Miss Simon, it is good for you, for your age and where you are, you're post-menopausal, all this sort of stuff. I said, well, let me ask you this. Could it be better? She said, yes. I said, if your estrogen level, it affects your heart, it affects your bones, the things that women always talk about, high level of heart attack among women. If this is one of the contributing factors, don't you think that is something that it should be taken note of? It should be, when you go to the doctor, something in place to help you with it. She said she cannot recommend hormone replacement therapy because I'm already postmenopausal. And then this thing dawned on me. Unless, and I asked her to it, so I said, unless a woman is coming in here and she all fall out, she have problems sleeping, who knows, she fall in the sleep at your car, she can't sleep at night because night sweat. There is nothing to help her. She watched me because I guess no one ever asked her that question, right? I said, so unless we're not in a crazy state and about to lose our mind, there isn't anything in place to help us with the hormones. I said, if hormones is one of, I said, doesn't the estrogen level affects your heart? Yes. I said, does it affect your bones? Yes. I said, but there's it. If these things is going to affect, there isn't anything, any discussion. The thing about it is not to even say, well, okay, Miss Simon, this is it. This is what's happening. But right now, we don't have a pill, but perhaps in your diet or with the nutritionist, there's nothing, which I say I was not pleased about, because I had expected something, because if you're running a test. So I asked her, I said, so if now my level of estrogen was not right for my age, would have been it? She's watching at me because there's nothing. If it is not right, and you, as I'm saying, I'm not in the stage for the cold sweat and all of these sort of stuff, which I feel I might be still in because I feel hot and cold anyway. And I never had no problem with too much of heat or too much of cold before. But if you don't have, if you're not like falling out your chair and you're not that sick, there is nothing. All right. So she said, oh, Miss Sam, you have to go upstairs to the cardiologist. I went upstairs, he looked at it, he asked me if there's got any shortage of breath. I said, no, no, no. He said, well, okay, still, you must think because of age and all this sort of stuff. So I raised it with him too, because he's the heart person, right? So I asked him. He said, yeah. He said, yes, the estrogen level. He said, because look like with men and the testosterone. I said, that is it. So is there something if men, the testosterone is low or so? Is there anything to, yes, there is. I said, but there's nothing for women. He realized like he walked into an ant's nest. He back up. I said, there's nothing for women. I said, the only thing the estrogen could affect, say, for instance, a woman want to get pregnant. So if it's not going to affect child's birth, or she's not falling out from wherever they are, the symptoms of menopause, there's nothing. I said, but if it does, if it would affect your heart and your bones, wouldn't there be something there to help us? You know, you're right. Whether he feel I'm right or not, or he just saying to pacify me. But I know when I told him initially, he was taken back to, he realized he walked into ant's nest. And I didn't realize, not to say I was thinking, but setting him up or whatever it is. I say something and he respond, and then this thing down on me. If it was a man, things would have been done. Anyway, so she said, all right, but the thing in the breast, they got to set up appointment, which they did able to set up one for the very next morning. I went and I saw the doctor, and she saw the image, and I told her too, well, I didn't tell the gynecologist this, but I told her, I said, usually over the years, I always feel something, there's a pain, whatever it is, I run to the doctor. I said, this is the very first time that the doctor is telling me something. Because she asked me, how are you this morning? I said, not good. I said, because this is the first time the doctor telling me something wrong. I'm the person who usually go to the doctor with a problem. She was laughing. I said, it's a fact. So she said, I think she looked at the screen and she had already have an idea what was happening. When she put the sonogram on my breast, she said, it's a cyst. Because I tell her, I said, I feel it. And you feel it naturally like it's separating. She said, yes, because it's breaking it into two and coming back into one. She said, it's a whole set of water. She said, if it was like protruding, she asked me, I said, I feel a soreness when I touch it. If I don't touch it, I don't feel any pain. She said, if it was very painful and it was like protruding, she would have just stick a needle inside of it and draw all the water out of it. She said, do not touch it. It do not turn to cancer or anything. She said it might stay there, it will go and come back. She said there is cyst. And I also told her, I said, and why initially when I feel it? Because it's both breasts. I did stay practically the same spot. I was feeling something and I was feeling a pain. And it was like one of the regular, it proven to be false things that I had before, feeling that something wrong with it. But when she go over to the next one, she said, you barely seen it. And she said, because the one is so small, the mammogram would not pick it up. And then she advised me, she said, I must not do mammograms. I must do sonograms. She said, I must always ask for a sonogram because she said, the density and stuff of my breast, it's better for me to get a sonogram. And she showed me. So I came away the next day feeling good about that, but still a bit peeved about this whole situation. And I was peeved with them for a few days. Then this thing dawned on me. It is not them. At least they're a step better than in the US. They check your estrogen level and your cortisol level and all of that. I like the whole system because it moves very quickly and you move from one spot to the other. You don't have to come back 3-4 days or a week before you get your blood results or the x-ray or anything like that. It is right there. I went there, I reached about, as I said, at 7:30 or whatever it is in the morning, and I left there at 2:30 the afternoon with a 45 minutes where I went to lunch. And I had a little break in between, but it was never when they're going to come. No, within a 10-15 minutes or something. When they even call me name, I'm surprised it happened so quickly. But it was a lot of things that were done, because the blood test, well, you usually check your pressure and all the story, but to check your eyes, to check your hearing, you do the bone density test, the stress test, the mammogram, the pap smear. A lot of tests is done with the blood. The test for cancer, the test for HIV, the test for other STDs, the check for your cholesterol level, your bone density. Oh, and I had the sonogram of my stomach. I even joked with the technician and said, if while you're rubbing this thing here, you see a baby, do not tell me anything. Keep the information. Keep the information to yourself. I said, you just so must keep it. I said, yes. And look at the baby and see if you could figure out who's the father. And if you could find him, tell him. Do not tell me. We were laughing. It was so, I don't know. I lying down there and she put this thing over my stomach. I said, who knows? There might be a baby in there. Let me tell her you should see one. Let her keep the information to yourself. I don't want to hear. So it was good in the case where I never had like a sonogram checking my liver, my pancreas, and my kidneys and all of that. They did that. It was good for, well, I had mammograms before. I never had a bone density scan and things like that. So that is why it was really good about, because it never happened before. But I was really taken back with this estrogen thing and the cortisol. If I didn't raise the question, it was not going up. It just this general, everything good, this level is good, you have to look at this. But I had to ask about the estrogen. And what I realized is that perhaps in the whole medical field, you see, when you're not in the childbearing age and things happening, yes, because there was the initial plan for women, not the initial plan. This what the war for years have. Women just serve one purpose, is to bear children. And as you're bearing children, who cares? There is nothing in place for you. Even when I go to the nutritionist, I really thought she would have said, well, okay, she would have tell you about food or something. Nothing. When I raised it to her, she was sitting with me, watching at me. I said, did you your blood test? She said, yes. I said, you see my estrogen level? Yeah. I said, is there anything? She said, no, Miss Sam, you have to go back. She said me somebody I should need to talk to. When I went to the gynecologist, she did not recommend anybody. She told me about a specialist in my breast, but she did not tell me anything about the estrogen level. So this is what I realized. We as women, to an extent, we screwed. We really and truly got to advocate for ourselves. Because there's nothing out there. I was sharing with a friend, she said, well, Paul, they haven't figured out a way in how to monetize it. She said, if they only figure out a way how to monetize it, then they will be offering stuff whether or not it's good for us. That is my take. I feel my cost for the health screening panel test was $464 because I use my MasterCard. I get a 10% off. They didn't mention it. There was a 50 ringgits for your first time registration, which is about like $9-10. It wasn't much, but I would have really, if they did tell you up front that there's a registration fee, I didn't see it until I pick up the bill. And let me see. Okay, well, they are going to the specialist the very next day for her to check the sonogram. It was $113. Between the two things, it was like, say for instance, nearly $600, which I wouldn't say wasn't bad in comparison that all was done, but still a bit pet peeve because I did not get the answer that I wanted. But what I realized is that there isn't anything much for us out there. We have to start thinking and figuring out stuff. So that's it. It's Prince Court Medical Center. This is how they give you your information. It's very much thing. They have a bag. They have great marketing. They have a lunch for, they call it the foreign people who come and do the head screen. I found the lunch by accident. It wasn't advertisement. Instead, the man, he's standing there and he see me passing, and I asked him, where is the bathroom? I wasn't seeing the sign. He said, oh, you could come in here. And I said, I could come in. I saw the sign premium lounge, but I didn't know it's for us. He said, yes, you come in. Beautiful place, a beautiful bathroom, like a spa. The overall experience was not bad. The time that spent there, the things that was done was great. It's only one thing, I didn't get what I was really went there for. But I learned something. Is that like overall, not much for us. So I didn't, as I said, I didn't take, I think 1 or 2 photos, because it's a big place, people coming and going, and here you are with a camera. You don't know who photo you're taking out. I don't like that. I think persons go there. No one is there because they come to ride a roller coaster. Everyone is there for some medical reason, either with a family or a friend or whoever the case may be, or they themselves. But they want you there recording them. As I said, the process was simple, but I came away not fully satisfied because my main question was not answered or taken care of. If you are new to this channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. A returning subscriber or visitor, welcome also. If this video or any of the other videos on this channel is of help to you, please share. And you know what? We have space. Why not subscribe? Be part of the team. Turn on the notification button so YouTube will let you know when a new video is uploaded. Take care and have a blessed day. Bye.